Good morning and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine Cross and I am the founder of Anja Health. And we last year hit $1 million in annual revenue. Anja Health is a company for pregnant parents that helps them freeze stem cells from their umbilical cords and placenta to use for potential future disease treatment. I founded the company in memory of my younger brother named Andrew, hence the name Anja. He had cerebral palsy and needed cord blood stem cells, but we unfortunately could not find anyone else's stem cells to use. So I'm solving this problem for other families by making sure that they always have access to their baby's own stem cells, 100% match for the baby, 75% match for siblings, and a 50% match for parents. And then they can potentially use their baby's umbilical cord and placenta stem cells for things like cancers. Even there's early research looking at autism, HIV, type 1 diabetes, and so many more. So if you know someone pregnant, definitely check out Anja Health. So last year we hit $1 million in annual revenue, and this year we are hitting $1 million in annual recurring revenue. So specifically revenue that we know that we can guarantee again, potentially next year. So today I'm going to go through all of the growth hacks that we did, the processes, and what scaling a business involves. I have another video about how to start a business, pick an idea, and create an MVP. And today's video is actually how to grow once you've gotten from 0 to 1. This video is more about 1 to 100. So I really think that scaling a business is a mix of three things: luck, instinct, and process. The reason there is luck involved is because market timing and things of that nature plays a really crucial role. I remember one of my Y Combinator partners was telling me about how her husband was building in the remote benefits space and then sold the company in 2019. And then obviously in 2020, remote benefits blew up. So in that way, luck is a part of it. However, instinct is also a part of it because you have to have good instincts around what might work, a feeling for the market, what kind of willingness to pay and demand there is. And then also process is really important because it allows you to work quickly and efficiently and move through all of the growth experiment ideas that there are, and also be able to decipher between signal and noise. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to get into how I scaled the Anja Health business to $1 million. So first of all, let's start with process. So the big thing with process is doubling down on what works and keeping track of what doesn't work so that you can potentially change and inform your future experiments. So I'm going to read off a framework that my head of growth actually devised. His name is Austin. Shout out to Austin. We have another amazing video that he was featured in where we talk about ads on my channel. So you want to create a big brainstorming list of everything that you can think of related to how to grow your business. Even if the idea seems really crazy, even if it's something like creating a TV show, you just never know what might eventually stick and what might speak to your instinct ultimately. So you just want to say yes to the dress, say yes to every single thing, and write it all down and keep a growth log. Then you can go through later and do a sanity check with the ideas. You can even create a rating system if you'd like, if you can't decide and aren't sure about your own instincts. An amazing growth agency, Got Users, which is founded by a YC founder as well. They give the framework of rating growth experiments by reach, impact, confidence, and ease. So reach is the potential opportunity for reaching new people. Impact is the impact that it could potentially have on your business. Confidence is your personal instinct on how well this might work. And ease is how easily you can execute on it. So you can use that framework in order to score the growth experiments that you have. However, in the beginning, it's important to just go on instinct because that might also be best. Then you want to create a list under each growth experiment of the following: a start and stop date. So when you're going to start the experiment and when you want to wrap it up and be able to revisit it for either a new iteration of the experiment or completely stop the experiment. The status of the experiment, whether or not it's in progress or if it's blocked for whatever reason, that's important to note too. Your workflow or playbook. It's really important to document everything that you're doing so that you can potentially look back on it and create future iterations. The next step after you execute on this step, if it works, and then comments, updates, and learnings, etc. So essentially you want to list all of these because you want to have a timeline for what success means. You want to have consistent updates and a place where you can check in with either yourself or other teammates. And then you can more easily check back in with yourself and assess what works and then double down on what did work. So that is how you can use a framework around your instinct in order to create process for your growth experiments. And basically you want to use instinct to determine which ones to keep moving forward with. And there might be a little bit of luck involved as to what works. But ultimately, you want to be able to decide how to move forward and how to double down on what works and how to eliminate what doesn't work. And it's also important to remember that I think it's easy to get caught up in creating scientific A/B tests where there's only one variable and everything else is controlled. But remember that especially in the beginning of a business, if your variables are actually too similar, then the ultimate difference between the experiments might not even be statistically significant. So I found that when I was doing experiments, sometimes I was making the experiments almost too similar. And there was quite literally only one thing that was different between, for instance, two landing pages. There just might be a different video. And then ultimately my site visits and things like that were too low to determine if one video was better than the other. And the videos were generally like relatively similar. So sometimes I just had to rely on my own instinct around what other variables to change as well, and just create like one version of a landing page that I think is the best version ever, and then one other landing page that is also another really, really good version, and they might be completely different. So in the beginning, it's almost best that there are multiple variables, because then you can just trust your instinct to move forward with whatever you think is best. So now in terms of how I use that framework to get to 1 million ARR, I'm going to go through some of the growth experiments that we actually did at Anja Health. So truthfully, the first about 300 customers were just due to me making TikToks and organic content in general. I was reposting on basically every single channel, but I used a lot of instinct and also user feedback in the comments and personal calls with users in order to determine what content might work. And I just kept on doubling down on the hooks and bodies in each video in order to figure out what exactly would continue to perform well and get us sales. Yeah. And one thing about me is that I'm honestly really not a planner, which I actually think is a weakness of mine as a founder. I would just kind of get up and figure like I will just do literally everything I can to optimize getting customers. And social media was one thing that I felt like I could do really quickly, really efficiently. I was hammering out like 12 videos in an hour, and I would just keep posting forever. I posted at least 7 videos a day for basically 2 years. And even now, I still make content probably at least once a week, if not more. So that was the first thing that I tried. I actually have another YouTube video on how to grow on social media if you want to check that out, where I dive deeper into my exact process around scaling on social media, featuring an amazing other content creator, Ask ChatGPT. Then I tried DMing birth providers on Instagram and trying to get them to partner with us and refer us. And I felt like if we were already building socials, the reason that I moved forward with that growth experiment is because it just felt like the next natural step. My personal gut instinct around growth was to just reach out to others in the same space that might be able to help us expand my social media efforts and scale that up. Then we tried influencers, conferences, OBGYNs, specifically with field marketing, where we would visit their offices in person, a PR agency, which by the way, I think is honestly a waste because press never really converts, especially if you're really small. At least that's kind of a general consensus that I've heard from other founders as well. We did a community on Facebook, then we did a community on Circle, which is another community platform. We tried creating lead gen tools, partnerships with brands that serve similar consumers, UGC content creators owning different accounts. There's actually a really interesting case study that this founder named Oliver created. He was selling an aphrodisiac chocolate, and he basically leveraged UGC accounts as a part of a Discord that he was managing in order to scale up media efforts, especially on TikTok. And I believe he got to around 10 million ARR using this strategy. So I will link that below. We tried paid ads with an agency. We tried paid ads in-house, which was honestly more effective, especially at a smaller scale, to do it in-house. And Austin really led the efforts there, the amazing head of growth at Anja Health. And I have another YouTube video around how to scale ads where I interview him about his process. We also tried tweeting. I had a ghostwriter for a little bit. I wrote my own tweets for a little bit. We tried webinars with parents and also birth providers, creating SEO strategies. We A/B tested multiple landing pages. I called every lead that we got for the first 6 months of the business or so to make sure that I could get consistent feedback on not only my content, but also on the product itself and how people were perceiving it. I think being able to talk to people in real time, even though only 1 in 10 people actually answered my call, it was worth it because I think user feedback is honestly the best way to shape your instinct if you don't feel strong about it. We've also tried Reddit organically, but also Reddit ads, word of mouth referrals, other products like supplements to see if people would want to upsell to our main product from that. So essentially, I used process and instinct in order to iterate through each of these. And I think luck was a bit of the outcome of each of these growth experiments. But ultimately, we followed that framework for a lot of these growth experiments, the Notion framework where we have the start stop and everything like that. And I really credit Austin, the head of growth at Anja Health, with creating this framework because, like I mentioned, historically, I'm not really so much of a planner because I figured why take time out of your day planning things when you could just wake up and give it your all and continue to do everything you can to optimize for getting new customers. Ultimately, I think that realized to sometimes losing momentum if I felt discouraged about a growth experiment not working. And also I wasn't able to get a clear direction sometimes as to what to do next. So then my momentum would stall for that reason. I think the fastest period of iteration through various growth experiments where I felt like I was learning quickly, which is really important, especially if you're someone like me that gets personal fulfillment from a feeling of learning. Our fastest process of iteration was really when Austin came in, created this framework, and we were able to iterate through numerous growth experiments. So I highly recommend this specific framework. And if you feel like you're running out of ideas, I think it's important to remember that if you Google growth hacks, anywhere online, especially on Twitter, there are so many Excel sheets and Airtables floating around where people list similar growth experiments to what I just listed that we tried. And also, it's important to remember that there are so many permutations to each growth experiment. So you might think that you've tried influencer marketing, but in reality, maybe you only tried it with white female influencers between the ages of 25 to 30 that happen to be stay-at-home moms and talk about being stay-at-home moms. When in actuality, maybe your content might resonate better with people at a higher age bracket, with male influencers, with young professional influencers, etc. So there are just so many different ways to run an experiment, and you just have to get creative with those different iterations so that you can ultimately create a successful permutation and find one for you. Now, more words to the wise is that if you're spending too long on a specific growth experiment, the exact timeline in which you spend on a growth experiment is really instinct, but ultimately at times there is actually an opportunity cost to not doing something else. So you don't want to spend too long on a specific growth experiment or even a specific product because luck might just not be in your favor and it might just not be time for you to be doing that specific growth strategy or that specific product. And in those cases, you should know when it's time to pivot. And in terms of figuring out how to execute on the specific growth strategy that you are trying, there are so many YouTube videos, etc. out there. Personally, I really like searching Twitter for growth experiment playbooks because I think that that is where the most up-to-date information is and where the best growth hackers live. But it really depends on the product and process. And that's kind of up to your instinct to decipher between the signal and noise and find the best playbook. When it comes to things like ads, there are literally so many YouTube videos that tell you so many different things about how to set up ads. And that's the case for almost every different type of growth experiment, which is why I haven't really told you, oh, you should do this growth experiment this way, because it really just depends on your product. And it's kind of up to you to figure out how to execute on your growth playbook in order to personalize it to your product. And now some quick general recommendations for executing on growth experiments. So by starting a company, you're taking a bet on the fact that you can indeed get to these goals, especially if you're venture backed. If you're bootstrapping, it's a slightly different story, but I think that the truly enlightened people have growth numbers like that even when they're bootstrapping. So all in all, it is all about iterating and doubling down on what works and also careful planning. Quick disclaimer that I actually don't self-identify as much of a planner, which is a skill that I've tried to improve ever since becoming a founder. So up until around 800 customers, I did not plan anything. I just kind of woke up and thought every day I should just be giving 100% of my effort to everything that I'm doing. So why would I create a plan if it just needs effort? But in retrospect, I actually think that planning can help you create direction around your effort, which I think can be extremely productive and help you focus and reduce the number of decisions that you have to make in a day so that you don't get decision fatigue while you're growth hacking. Also, another thing to note is that you should keep a consistent list of things that have worked, did not work, things that maybe even slightly worked, and any potential permutations of these growth experiments that you can think of so that you can try them in the future in the case that you want to revisit certain growth experiments or see market signals that they might work. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching and listening to all of my tips. If you're the founder of any company or just have questions about this in general, feel free to comment below and make sure to like and subscribe and check out my Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. And if you know someone pregnant, head to angelhealth.com. Thanks for watching.